Point number one is this. Sometimes the first people to question your calling are the very people your calling is meant to free. And people pray for deliverance until deliverance confronts their comfort. People want help until help actually comes and it looks different than how you expect it and anticipate it. Sometimes help arrives in the form of discipline. Sometimes help arrives in the form of discomfort. Sometimes help arrives in the form of you doing something differently than the way you've been doing it for all these years, but you don't acknowledge it as help because you don't want to receive it if it arrives in the form of pain. The greatest seasons of breakthrough, the greatest seasons of God pushing me and propelling me and positioning me came through the gift of pain. I heard his voice clearer in pain. I saw his hand clearer at work in pain and discomfort. I experienced his presence clearer in pain than I ever had in the seasons of prospering. That is one of the greatest lessons we could ever learn, and that's why Paul, he prays 3 times, God, remove this thorn from my flesh, and God says, no, my grace is sufficient for you, because if there's grace in the thorn, then there's grace to prosper you with the thorn in your flesh. And some of you are trying to remove the thorn, and God is saying, get your hands off that thorn. I'm doing a good work in that thorn. I'm speaking to you through that thorn. I'm delivering you through that thorn. I'm prospering you. I'm propelling you through that thorn. Don't pray that God would remove the thorn. Pray that God would give you wisdom to steward it well. My grace is sufficient for you. Sometimes familiarity can blind you to the hand of God standing right in front of you. And you reject the rescuer because healing would require admitting that you're stuck and you're weak instead of carrying on the facade that everything is all right. You know what I wish? I wish that church was real. I wish that we stopped carrying ourselves like we're perfect and you got to be perfect and everything is going just according to your plan and everybody is just liking you and loving you and you don't got no problems and all your bills are paid for and everything you need is being taken care of. I wish we could have a community of people who would admit and acknowledge, no, my life ain't going the way I thought that it should, but man, God is doing something formative in this season of pain. He's doing something formative in this season of confusion and chaos. And although it's costing me the little identity I gave myself, he's forming me and making me and shaping me, and he's transforming me into the person he desires for me to be. But we can't experience that because we want to be who people think we should be instead of who God called us to be. What if we just create an environment for people to actually be real and display their dire need for the Savior who can only save you and redeem you and renew you when you acknowledge I'm weak, therefore I need the strength of God. You're not as good as you think you are. You're not as rich as you think you are. You don't got it together like you think you do. You're broke. You're in dire need of Jesus. You're in pain. And the reality is if he does not change your life, you're going to die and you're going to be stuck exactly where you are. He never called you to be affirmed by people. He never called you to fit in. He called you to stand out. And there's a blessing in not belonging. I don't belong to this world. This is not my home. This is not my final resting place. I'm a pilgrim traveling through. Moses, he called himself an alien in Midian. I don't belong here. I'm working here. But when I clock out, and I will, I'm going to my mansion, the one my father prepared for me. Because his word says, I go to prepare a place for you. If it were not so, I would not say it. And some of us are so stuck trying to belong here. And unfortunately, we will never belong there. It's a blessing to not belonging.